Glen Drover here with me. I've heard
Yes.
and I've seen that you got a new album coming out.
It comes out on April 5th, which is, it's right around the corner, not too far off.
Now, what can we expect on this album, Metalusion?
It's really kind of a mix of different styles. I mean, there's definitely a lot of metal style in there as well as fusion, like kind of more hard-edged jazz fusion influences that some of us have. There's some progressive elements too, because Jim Gilmore plays in the band and he's the keyboard player from Saga, so he wrote some material and so we have that more proggier side, but it's all more harder edged probably because of mainly because of my style of playing. So that it's more aggressive and heavy guitar-wise, and so it's just a combination of all that. It's all instrumental, and I'm really, really, really proud of the album.
Now, Glenn, let's say with an instrumental album like this, how do you go around making an album like this, like writing it?
Well, you have to keep in mind that it is because it's instrumental. You have to make it interesting, so that because most people used to listening to music with vocals, and that's usually the main thing that people focus on is the melodies, the vocals, and so forth. So with instrumental music, you got to be careful to make sure that the strongs are strong enough to carry themselves on their own without having vocals in the picture. So that's the thing that you have to just be conscious of, and it's just there's two different. You could write a song that fits that you could put vocals over, structured in a certain way, and instrumental music's a little bit different than that. It requires a different type of structure. So, but there's also there's songs on there that are that have guitar like theme lines, melody lines that that go through the song, and kind of act as a vocal melody, I suppose. It's more of the voice. So there are tunes like that as well. So it's got we've got a pretty much a good combination of more complex stuff, and some stuff is a little bit more more straight ahead and melodic. So
and also, who's all appearing on this album?
Well, the band itself is me, of course. There's Jim Gilmore from Saga, Chris Sutherland, he's a drummer, and the bass player's name is Paul Yee. And as far as guest players on the album, Chris Poland plays on it, Vinnie Moore plays on it. Who else? Jeff Loomis, Steve Smythe, and Frederick from Opeth. He used to play with Arch Enemy as well. So and they really recorded some cool stuff, for their parts. So we're really happy about the way it turned out.
And this band name is going to be Glen Drover?
Right. Yeah. Goes under my name. It's really looked at more, to be honest with you. It's really looked at more as for me, and I know I speak the same for the other guys in the band. It's more like it is really more of a band thing. It's not like me and the whoever. It's we all hold our own thing, and that's how it came together. At the end of the day, we just we were tossing around different possibilities for names, and a few of us thought, well, let's put it under your name, just do that. It's okay, and that's the way it went.
Yeah, because when you look at the whole catalog of the world, how many band names there is, and there's only one Glen Drover, might as well take that name.
Yeah. Well, there was obviously reasons why we all decided that this is probably the best way to go, but without getting into all that, we figured this is probably the best thing to do at this point. So, and again, nobody could come up with a good name, so it's like, okay, here we go, wherever it is.
Made part of King Diamond, Megadeth, Testament. Would you say now, with your equipment you're using, would it be still in the same line of equipment you've used with those bands?
Sure. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the guitars. I mean, I'm a Dean endorser, so I got a lot of Deans that I used on the album. For a good portion of the album, I used a processor by a company called Digitech. It's called the GSP-1101. It's a preamp, but it's just an incredible unit that's got it's very, very versatile unit. Tons of different tones that are very useful, and for me are just amazing. It's my favorite rack mount I've ever used. And I also used I just got some new Randall gear, so I've been using Randall equipment as well. So it's as far as amplification on the album, it's a combination of those two things. Depending on what the song called for, I would use that particular type of sound. But the tones, yes, the tones are very similar to what I used in Megadeth and Testament in particular. Whereas with King Diamond, I used just more Marshalls and stuff like that, you know.
And of course, we've got Seymour Duncans and those guitars.
Yeah. I've been with Seymour for it's probably a good decade now. So I've always used their pickups, and I have all my guitars loaded with Seymours. And that's pretty much about it, you know. Those three things: my Deans and a little bit of the Digitech stuff, and Randall amps and cabinets. The album, as far as guitars and what was used and all that.
Do you experiment a lot with different preamps and stuff like that? Yeah,
I do. But there's certain, like I said, there's whatever the song calls for. Some songs call for something that's more edgy. Some songs call for maybe not so much abrasive and in your face metallic wall of sound. There's just like there's a cover that we did on there by Al Di Meola. It's called Egyptian Dance. It's off of his earlier albums, and that required something that was not quite as like really all out heavy guitar. It just all depends on what the song calls for. It's good to use that sometimes. Sometimes it's it just doesn't work. So it just all depend on what I needed to complete the sound picture, so to speak.
And what do you think of the internet as a promotional tool these days?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's the main tool that everybody uses now, isn't it? So I mean, it's really, really good. It's so easy to access things, in seconds, minutes, whatever. So it's great thing to use for promotion. Absolutely.
Would you say the magazines, are dying down slowly and the internet's taking over big time?
Well, I mean, it is happening. I mean, we all see that. Do I like it? No, but it's just seems that that's just the way it is. That's the way we're moving, towards using more of the internet. But I'm hoping that there's certain magazines I think that still have to exist. But I mean, it's definitely going that way. Sure, whether we like to think it is or not, it is.
Oh, I know. And you're gonna have a promo video with this new album?
That's a good question. I'm not really too sure. I'm going to be shooting some stuff for Guitar World next week, I think. And aside from that, I have an instructional video I'm doing pretty soon. That'll probably be out sometime in I don't know, maybe fall or winter of this year. But as far as doing a promo, like a clip from the album, I haven't really discussed that yet. It's possible, though.
Because to this day, everybody's going on YouTube and posting their new videos, and it seems it's a new way of promoting now.
Yeah, which is a good thing, too, sure. Yeah, so that might happen, but it hasn't been talked about yet.
So basically, are you going to be touring this summer also? We're going to see you on the road with anybody?
We'll see. There's talk about doing certain things, which I won't get into because it's not 100% yet. So, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. But we certainly want to get out and do some shows to promote the album, absolutely. So, and when that would be, that's a good question. Right now, I've just, the album is just about to come out, so I'm just focusing more on just, the promo part, initial promo for the album and so forth. So.
Well, that's great, Glenn. We're looking forward to seeing this Metalusion released. It's going to be great. Yeah,
so am I.
Did you participate at NAMM this year?
Yeah, I was there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fun. I hadn't been there in years, so I get to see a lot of old friends and met some new ones, and we all had a really good time. So productive. It was a fun and productive weekend.
Every year, does it get better, NAMM? It seems.
Well, I don't know because this is the first time I've been there in a long time.
Okay.
But I would say I would imagine it's pretty much the same. Just You go back the following year, and now there's now there's more gear. There's newer equipment. All these companies are pumping out and so forth. So, and a lot of the companies premiere new stuff before this actually goes on sale at NAMM, so you get to see the stuff before it's released, which is pretty neat. Especially for people like me, who aside from the guitar thing, I've also been engineering for a long time, for probably a good 15 years now. So I'm always, interested in looking at, new recording equipment and possibilities with that, and
One question here about engineering then. Programs you use on the internet, like, not internet, but computer, like Isotope and all that for mastering. What do you think of those compression kits?
Well, some of them I don't know. I mean, the ones that I use Pro Tools for recording, and for mastering I use Wavelab. I also use, there's a new one that just came out from T-Rax, which is a really, really nice mastering suite. It comes with a lot of really cool plugins. So I've been messing around with that, but primarily I use the Wavelab for mastering and Pro Tools for recording. Although I have a few different programs, and have tried and seen different ones, Pro Tools is still my favorite. Just like the layout, and I'm used to it, I mean, there's so much, as you know, it's so detailed. Just to get to know one program properly, it takes a while.
Right.
So I have no desire to jump around and use different programs. It's like you're starting all over again, to a certain point.
Well, Glenn, it's been a pleasure talking to you about all this stuff and the new Metalusion album, and just look forward to seeing this.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.